Staying on that topic of large spaces, other large commercials, does this open up opportunities? We began the show with where you were talking about you're doing the 20,000 square feet, which is an empty space, and all you have for the camera to hook on is the ceiling and the floor, and the Pro 2 just makes you cry trying to do that space. Does this, like, now do you get excited to say, wow, I can do wide open spaces that might be 20, 40, 50, 80,000 square feet, and I can do it in a fraction of the time? Is that resonating with you in terms of?
It's totally resonating. I mean, you know, you have to stress test whatever you've just purchased to kind of know what its limits are. And so I hope to be able to get the opportunity to scan some really large spaces. We have a bid out right now for a entire office building that's about 200,000 square feet. And I mean, just thinking back to what it used to be like, and when we didn't have the blur tool and we didn't have the Pro 3, you know, that might have been a job that I would have imagined we either would have had to have said no to because we couldn't obscure sensitive information, or we would have had to have like shot it in 360 and then edited it and then put it into a totally different tour platform, which we did for you know, some highly sensitive spaces, full floors that we were extracting 360s and then manually blurring. That was kind of the way that we had to do it as a workaround. But now that we have the blur and we have the Pro 3, I could just sort of bid out a 200,000 square foot building, like, kind of no problem. I don't feel like there's anything that would alarm me about that.
Would that be in one model, or would you do each floor as a separate model, or either way would be totally fine, whatever the client wants?
I think kind of whatever the client wants. We may bump into space. We may still bump into GPU and space constraints on an iPad, you know, or whatever tablet we're using. So I would have to see how that goes, but that's a performance issue. We have not, like I said, we haven't stress test all the way on that yet, but certainly, you know, that would be something that I could imagine would work, because if we could space out the scans enough, I don't know. I think that it's possible to scan a 200,000 square foot space with one scan, but if not, well, there's workarounds for that too. So yeah, you know, I have to give it a try. I don't like working with big bulky scans, to be honest, because I feel like it's more cumbersome, but I do believe that I believe it's worth a try.
Large, anything else come to mind in terms of use cases? Large
Large use cases for this.
opportunities that you would perhaps walk away if the tool was a Matterport Pro 2 camera, but now that you have this Matterport Pro 3 camera, in terms of large spaces?
Well, I think that maybe, you know, we have to go back to sort of what is, if you're a provider of services and there isn't a BLK 360 for, you know, hours and miles away from you, or you know, it may have been a challenge for you before to accept jobs where you would be scanning like a entire campus, or maybe, you know, you wanted to capture outdoor spaces that were very large, but this now enables you to say yes to those jobs. And I think that will add, anytime you can say yes instead of saying no to a potential client, I feel like then you are creating an opportunity for yourself. So that would be I can't give a specific example other than I can imagine like things we did in the past, like scanning entire campuses where we did each building individually. Now we could connect all the buildings, and in the past maybe we didn't have a BLK 360, or that was way beyond their budget. So this would sort of be that sweet spot.